Hello and welcome to another Dwarven Tavern video. We are here today. I am Dr. Jeff Goins, and with me in the tavern is Lyric Goins, the Tavernier Lyric, Dr. Lisa, Dr. Lissa, and the magical Ian Goins, Tavernier Ian. We had a comment that said that we were only supposed to have one beard to the table, but that is obviously not a table of dwarves. So you're lucky right now that there are not 5 beards at this table.
We are working on it.
We take care of it.
Yes, that's right. So
to conform to your standards.
we conform to no standards but our own, because we're dwarves. So this game, we're doing some board games, and not games that are boring, or they themselves are not bored, but they are games that include boards. And with that little English thing out of the way, this one is from Floodgate Games, and it's called Legacy Gears of Time. And I believe Tavernier Lissa was the one to pick this up, so you want to tell us a little bit about this?
No.
No?
Not one bit.
Let's get this thing opened up and
Anytime now.
yes. And we'll get this started. So it has
Multiple pieces.
multiple pieces.
Great.
It has a lot of pieces actually.
Oh,
we demoed
boy.
this a little bit at the con itself.
So you do know how to play it at least a little bit.
I have a rough idea. So
Oh.
yeah, we've got a long
A longboard. That's different.
Interessant.
Okay, now, as I understand, you play the game by rewriting history. You start at a point and play to invent things. Invent various, like, the wheel, fire, gas engines.
The wheel fire.
The Wheel of Fire.
Yes, the
I
wheel
like
of
it
fire.
already.
And you play, and then you get a point for that, and then you go back in time a little bit further. And then you play, and then if you have invented a thing before the player beforehand at an earlier point in time, then you get to take that point.
Oh, wow.
It's
So
a
that's
battle
like
for the past.
It's the Battle of the Butterfly Effect.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, it's like a battle to be the forefather of science.
Science.
So it's an interesting game. And I certainly thought so. And let's see. Many pieces.
Oh, so many.
So we have
Is there a
technology.
maximum number of players?
Yes, we're here.
Let's see the...
2 to 4. No, that's wrong.
2 to 4.
2
2
to
to
4.
4.
And it takes between 60 and 120 minutes per game
Jesus.
to play.
And it's 13 and up.
So I will not play this one, so I can constantly look at the instructions. So
Okay, so
I will run
you'll
the
sit
game.
out and you'll run the game.
You're basically our demoist.
I'm the rector.
Okay, well, this
Once
is,
again,
this
listen
is-
for it.
this is pretty, this is laid out easy.
So is this like an RPG board game? Like,
Well, kind of.
Well, it's a battle for the past. So
I am red.
The board setup is shuffle all the legacy gears of time, technology, and fate cards together to form the draw pile.
Oh, boo.
And then place the gear markers on the leftmost square of the round indicator of the track.
Or you can just be a total idiot and sit here and go, wee! Until...
So it's
This is what the
already
optional
fun.
games.
It gets at
Optional
least
game.
1 axe for that.
At least one.
One act.
One extra.
For fun pawns.
And as you can see, we haven't played the game yet. We're opening up the cards here.
I like these.
Yes, I require
Do
some
I-
assistance.
We get tiny squares. Did you
Okay.
take my poop?
I assist not.
Everybody, we get gram cubes.
Gram cubes.
Okay.
Then I get a broken one
story.
gram cube.
In the
Aw.
broken
Oh,
gram
da
cube?
boo boo.
Aww.
It's split.
It's
It's, not
texture
broken.
cube.
It's split.
Okay. In the world of Legacy, the course of history is maintained by the operators of the ancient machine. Capital letters.
Ooh, these are
As-
shiny.
Antiquitex, the operators are bound to the present by the machine while they travel back through time to ensure the technological advancements of the world remain intact.
Wait a minute. I have to mention this. This card says writing is fundamental. Dang didn't
Why are you
read.
looking at the cards?
I was
didn't.
just- I was
She gave it to
checking
me. It was her
I
fault.
was
She did
checking it out for
It is
texture.
all your fault.
Can you shuffle those?
Yes.
I think they're all the same. So, yeah, all the same.
Just
type
flip
of
through them
thing.
and
I
look to
do
make
not
sure
shuffle professionally. I'll just say that right now.
well, you should look through them to make sure they weren't all the same.
Okay.
Whoops.
Overview.
Oh well.
Legacy is a game of time travel and technology. Players will travel along the timeline into the past, stopping to build up elaborate chains of technologies and vie for influence over existing ones. At the end of each round, players return to the present day to claim their rewards of legacy points and influence cubes. The player with the highest legacy point total at the end of the game is the winner. Okay. So influence cubes are these cubes.
Cubes.
That
player
does bring up a
markers.
point, though. If
Huh.
you get a piece in a new game that's broken, you know,
Yeah,
that,
it's.
that's
You
upsetting.
know, it is upsetting, but in a way, it makes it kind of rustic. It makes it.
It's a cut the knife moment. It can't be helped.
Yeah,
Oh,
it
sure,
right,
mate.
but
It's either. Cut the knife is a more proper, formal way of saying it.
for some reason, this because these pieces are wooden,
Yeah.
and they look like they've been produced on a lathe.
Yeah.
Do it.
These are lathed, and
Yeah, these are all colored wood.
I can't bend my hands the appropriate way.
It's not balsa, but
Your face is.
oh, he's got the. You can actually see the grain.
so professional.
I know.
So this is the discard pile. This is the draw pile.
It is
So
the
where are
discard.
a lot of work cutting out all these pieces and counting them out.
Well, this was probably
Aw,
done on
Mine's
a.
How many
damaged
pieces do we have?
On the trois cats.
That's
So,
where
in
the
here?
draw pile.
Si set we
draw pile?
to enough these all.
Let's see, number 3.
Can't
This is
count.
the round indicator track. And
So
that's
20,
where
28 pieces. I got roughly.
mm,
Look at us all counting like professionals.
27.
This is
what I
how they
have.
teach math in like third grade.
1 plus 1 is.
Now what's the age?
I have 27 cubes.
it probably keeps going up, but it's about 15 to start.
One of my
13
old
up.
jobs
Okay.
that I had decades and decades ago was making little pieces like this in a wood shop, and I used to make hearts. And they would take the stock and they would put it in, and a saw would come out and go, and it would drop down, and a saw would cut it, and all these little hearts. So it's actually kind of
Reminiscent of-
nostalgic for
Yeah.
me. Yeah,
I have
Yeah.
29 exactly.
29.
I only had 27.
Of
Of
I
course,
had
this
27.
is a 13 and up, so these pieces can be swallowed by
count.
someone.
They are
young,
delicious
so-
to people under 6.
Yes. The delicious factor also goes with the color, so.
Yeah, mine would be
Yeah.
disgusting.
These are grape.
Mine would
Grape.
be disgusting.
You don't have
That's
grape.
dark
I
red.
got grape. You got raspberry.
Wine colored, dude.
Oh,
I
then
got-
we have
that
to
would be
worry about
cherry.
those who are over drinking age swallowing them.
You know, we're not even discussing how to play the game. We're talking about what flavor our cubes.
what flavor our wooden cubes are.
So
You heard it here first, and probably for a reason.
So this is where
and
it
and see
starts.
those little entertaining games that people can do while they're learning to play a game also helps to make a person want to keep playing. So if they can amuse themselves while someone else is trying to figure out how to play the game. It's kind of helpful.
Which is what I'm doing over here. I'm making a little maze with
Actually,
my
I
pieces.
recounted. I have 28.
1, 2,
I got a little maze trying to get through without touching any of the other little cubes.
I was trying to build.
Oh, who made it? These are bombs. These are bombs.
Ian and I are doing the exact same thing.
Technology
putting it next to
capacity
each other.
mark.
Mine's a pyramid.
I was actually putting mine together to count them.
That must be these guys.
Actually, man.
No, you didn't even notice.
Don't I sing like stinging bee?
Oh, Dopey.
So there's a lot of
Okay,
prep
which
time on
hand is
this
the green
game.
one?
Setting it
Do you
up.
want me to poke out the rest of these cards, Les?
Yes, please.
Unless somebody volunteers.
You didn't
Like
leave it on the
me.
table.
Technology capacity markers, and that would be
Which one's
The funnest part of the game is this.
For somebody like
Speed
to
or
tear stuff up,
something.
yeah.
Ah, it's
You're welcome.
Try to build my castle over here.
Okay.
All right, let's go.
All right, so I am here. So this way is the past?
Yes.
Okay, so...
You can move back any number of times, you just can't move forward.
Okay, so I guess I'll move here. Is there something in particular?
That a roll or count?
Nope. I don't think so.
Just as many times as we want.
Okay.
So,
Then I take 2 cards. Or I
you sure that
establish...
Are you sure that we're
Each-
not supposed to start all the way over here?
No, I saw the diagram. It was like
it
right
starts there.
It starts in the middle.
That's-
And then we added a little bit because
Wait,
there are more
it
than
actually
one player.
starts on the line.
Because there's more than one player.
No.
You-
It starts on this line, according to this. It doesn't go below it. It goes at the same level as it.
Oh,
You
so
mean like,
it goes like
this
this.
guy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Do you want to go back that far now?
No, let's take it to here.
Okay.
Let's take it to there. And
You can, I believe you can also establish technology.
okay, so I'm going to
Do you lay the cards on the board?
establish a technology in your current time frame. Okay, how do I know what time frame?
Can you establish any technology at any
Okay,
time frame?
these are the
Those
these.
are failed technology counters, and then for when you get past the number of cubes, I think you get the little crowns.
Right, these are resolving the time. So this you follow the X's.
What do the numbers on the cards mean?
Okay.
These numbers. What do those mean?
Yeah, like I have writing is one. And then
By the
Those
way-
are secret time.
Oh!
You and your letter.
So, okay, explain the terms again.
Okay, each game consists of 4 rounds. Each round contains 5 phases, and each player each round takes 4 turns.
This is a very
And that moment of
complicated
silence
game.
was dedicated to our patients that is recently deceased.
I don't know, I think we're patient people.
We are very patient, but even
But we got
our,
cards to play
We
with,
have-
and we got
we
we got
pieces
these
to
little
play with.
cubes.
So we
and
have
build
our hands
things.
busy.
It's like Minecraft, only tiny.
Aw, mini Minecrafts.
Yes.
That just says
You have
like-
water cubes, water source blocks. So,
Look at my
Okay.
ocean.
I've got well.
you
I
have...
have no idea what this is.
If you've established that, then you're not going to gamble any cubes,
You want a
which
pool?
I don't really understand.
Right.
Then you draw 2 cards, and you look at them both, but
Which
you
I did.
choose to discard one.
Oh, that's right.
Ah,
I want to be. This is
You're
how.
possessed, remember?
Everything is
Game
different
My
games
case is
for
moving
different
without me.
Okay, so I have a card that has 2 gear. So do I play it and then discard?
So basically, this card here tells you who you are, gives you a mission statement on what you're trying to. This is your objective, your goal that you're trying to find that you want to do. So I'm a love-struck architect, so I'm going back in time to find Frances. So I need to go back to a timeline that I think she would be in, or maybe he. I don't know.
Who knows?
I don't know if I'm a girl or a guy. It doesn't
It
say.
has a picture of you on the back.
Does it?
But what your gender is doesn't matter who your lover is. Francis is a gender neutral name.
That's right.
It's Pat.
But I'm not even sure if I'm a guy or a girl by the looks of this either.
What is that? So, I think we're doing this wrong, but I don't know how.
Well, let's keep going, and then maybe we'll figure it out along the way.
Okay, so it's the next...
Because I have no idea what these things are. and
Okay,
they-
so we're
My
the
goal
next round.
is to set
We're
up all the
resolving-
fundamental basics, because I have a wall of basics.
Okay, so it's
resolve
my
the
turn.
timeline. Or if you...
Resolve the timeline.
Yes. Return all player markers to the present day.
Is that after everyone's gone?
Yes.
Oh, so we actually can.
We are jumping back and forth in time. I
Mhm.
thought that was a
Yeah.
one-way trip.
We can only go back in time, but when the round ends, we all go back. That's why we can't jump
So
around
everybody
because
got
we can only
into
jump to the time we're going to.
Okay.
I also thought we could only go back.
There
Yeah.
aren't any duplicates,
There are no duplicates.
So in other words, we
so the timeline's okay so far.
okay,
Award legacy
I'm going
points.
to be awesome.
which is
Which are
true.
these things, right? The crowns?
But that's true though. When you go back in time the first time, you try not to mess it up. But as you keep going back,
It
suddenly
messes up on its own.
you start forgetting and not caring, so you start screwing it up.
Okay, awarding
Yeah.
legacy points. Players with the most influence over their pursuit technology, listed on their character card, gain the bonus legacy points indicated in the Crown Eye bonus.
Oh, so that would be why mine is writing, because it's the letter of the law that's important to my character. So I want to have the most influence over writing.
I believe. And then if it says so,
Wait, what?
I think you're just making crap up.
So how do you put cubes on other people's cards?
I'm not really sure.
So,
That's so confusing. Well, it's
So ties for the... I have no idea. I really don't know.
May I take a look?
Yes.
This game,
There you go.
my first
Okay.
This
So this is all...
it looks so awesome, but we can't play it yet.
that is true.
We are playing it.
And we were doing everything right so
That's
far.
really confusing.
Yeah.
Influencing a technology into a current time frame. Place any number of cubes
Wait a second,
from
I
the
just realized
influence
we're only doing the
clue
basics of this game.
on the one technology.
This is a very
Complex game.
So if you want something to become a technology, my understanding is you can influence writing. So if you want to see the writing expand because you're going to build on it, then you would put cubes on it, and it doesn't say how many.
I believe you can spend them.
You can.
I don't know if you can spend them the same round.
Doesn't say. It just says that you can. put 'em on there.
So this is not the influence
Yeah.
pool. This is the supply.
And then you get a free
This-
action.
This is the supply. The influence pool is what you place on this card. So you get the...
Remember that thing you were talking about? The sitting there not knowing what to do, waiting for...
Yeah, that applies to all games,
Yep.
apparently.
Yeah, this is not. I mean,
yeah. What do you do?
Well,
I mean,
Oops,
you
I
have
kicked
4
the
people.
cat.
If I'm an extra person here, you know, so I get to sit and watch. Yeah, there's no
I don't know
real.
why I did that.
Is there any reason to not go all the way back in time?
No. And there's no real layout that shows how to do those cards either.
I made a terrible mistake. So,
that's
and
really
then-
correct.
because you could not get a 15-year-old to sit and learn
no
this.
way.
No.
And you couldn't get a 5-year-old to sit and learn this.
Well, this is not for that age group. This is for 13 and up.
Yeah.
So
13-year-olds?
13-year-olds and up. So basically, obviously, the little pieces would be too much for swallowing for anybody under 3. And then you have your.
The complexity of it is just it's
I
way
don't
too
know.
high.
I don't know about 13.
No, I'm a 22-year-old, and this is kind of a bit much.
But it's bright and colorful and
Yeah, it's.
childish looking.
Yeah, the.
Yes.
Go back here as well.
It's kind of like a cartoony steampunk, but it's not
I'm
quite
going to
there.
Discard 2. Now I'm going
What
to
is
establish science.
What is the tech? Okay. Okay. So to do a short summary, and the reason we're calling it here is because there's a small list of recommendations toward the back of the instructions, and one of them is that new players should play games with only 2 or 3 players until all players are familiar with the rules. So
It's a bit much with the 5 of us.
yeah, with the 5 of us all trying to learn it, you know, even though not everyone is playing, it's still quite a bit. So, and it has some statements about, you know, you shouldn't go all the way back and when you should, to try and, I guess, to make sure that there's a little bit of game balance, since you can just go straight to the past and do straight fundamentals and take care of that.
But if that's a possibility,
Why wouldn't
they're
you do
asking you to hold back
To keep the game balance.
to keep the game balance.
So strategy is kind of subjective here.
Well,
Well,
that's
they're trying to say that strategy needs to happen, but like you said, you can go
Just straight
all the
back
way-
all the way to the past and get all the fundamentals down.
because
or
the
you
first
can
thing
go-
says you can't. You can go as far back into the past as you want.
and you can go only a little bit. You can go to one step, and then play all the advanced stuff. But if you don't have the fundamentals that support that, you could have done that for nothing.
Wait. So that means you could have, if you're doing a 1v1, you could have one guy all the way up there, and one guy all the way back here. You wait like 2 turns up there without playing anything, just drawing cards, because there's no hand limit. And then this guy back here plays all the fundamentals, and then you play all the high-tech stuff.
Yeah.
If you have the
What?
cards.
Yeah.
So
I think in order for us to give it the full review that it deserves, we need to have just 2 of us have a crab battle and do it.
But that's not fair either. When it says on the game you should be able to play 4, you have 4.
well, you can
No,
play
it
for it,
says
we don't
it gave
friggin'
the
know it.
recommendation that 2 to 3 players should play it first, and
Right.
then all of us should play it.
It
So-
has a really slow, clunky startup,
Yeah.
which is
Kind of fitting.
it's a beautiful
Being
game.
a time
It has a lot of pieces. It's obviously very well thought out. We
Yeah.
gave it 2 axes at least because it has some interesting pieces, and it has some interesting cards. But any more than that would have to be pending.
Well, the directions are laid out. I mean, you get a quick start going here. It lays everything out, explains the cards well. You kind of can get the startup going really fast, which is nice. It is a Kickstarter. That is something. And then it also has on the back how the technology works as well, how everything kind of connects. So you kind of have some idea.
It just maybe needed to have been trimmed down a little bit.
Yeah.
I feel like
So-
there's almost too much to it.
There
Or
is a little
these
bit
cards
too much
probably
to it.
could have been ditched.
So in reality, what we have is time travelers battling to
Have the most influence.
have the most influence over a technology or the sciences or technologies. And that's it?
And that seems to be it.
Okay.
I think there's a little bit of story about how you're trying to stabilize the timeline by risking the timeline or something. So
It seems like I think we need.
there's a lot to it.
So as far as good games go,
This game could be used.
simplicity, I think reigns supreme, even in the most complex of stories. When we're talking about Monopoly, you want to have the Monopoly. You want to have the most. Of course, games like chess and checkers, whatever. It's very, very simple, very straightforward. But there are some other board games, like the Game of Life, where the chief goal is very simple and it's very straightforward. It's a very straightforward goal. In this particular game, I'm still kind of unsure, even after reading the rules that we did during our breaks and stuff. Even reading the rules, I'm still left with why exactly is this
Yeah.
game happening?
Which part of the board is the most important?
And-
Because we didn't even get to this part, and was that important
think-
from the get go?
And you add on to the timeline and push everything over.
Yeah.
Yeah, with over an hour of just going over what's going on, trying to figure out how to actually play the game, we didn't even get past, turn round section 2 of
Turn round
turn
section
round
1.
section 5?
When the shortest game, supposedly with 2 to 3 players, takes at least an hour, that's kind of
Yeah, this is not going to be something that you're going to pull out and say, "Oh, we got a party game. We're going to
let's have a short game of Monopoly or
Yeah,
Risk.
yeah, it's not going to happen. This is
It's-
going to be a
it's
long
that
game.
kind of-
would you like
This
a quick
is
game of
something
Risk?
that you would play over a holiday break, summer break. You were on a camping. You could use this game if you were a history teacher to drive home some different ideas on how things worked at a younger age. That would be kind of interesting. You could play it in
you
that
have to
way.
keep your audience in mind.
Yeah.
Because this isn't really this is a board game like Monopoly or Risk. It has its own its own game night.
Well, this is
It's not something that you just pick up at random.
Yeah, this is something that you guys plan to play. You have to it's like, hey, you got like some friends coming over. What are we gonna do? It's like,
Let's play Legacy.
Let's play Legacy because it's
For the weekend.
It's a legacy. So.
Or it'd be like if you're waiting for someone's mom to come pick you up and they're not going to be there for an hour.
Or
two.
you have a Doctor Who marathon in the background, and you kind of just want to play. Like, would that really work? That's not out.
Yeah, that could actually be cool.
Yeah,
That
you
could
could
actually be
you could do
that's a
something
good
like
idea.
that. You get creative with like a couple of different side things. So you got the big screen with the Doctor Who in the background, and everybody can dress up like Doctor Who fans. Weeping Willow.
Time Bandit, Lost in Space.
Right. Throw some of those in there, and then have a bunch of different time games, and then play through, and maybe have like a big game of time to see who is the time master and play off.
If you have the time.
If you have time.
You want to kill some time.
Is this supposed to hold these things, or am I
Yeah.
supposed to put
You
them
can play.
back?
You can play this all the time.
Yeah, and with that word. we will
But this
call it.
is definitely is not something you want around
So-
little kids.
Oh yeah, definitely. There's
Yeah,
way too
despite
many
its appearance.
non-kid friendly things. So axes, lyric.
I don't think we can really give
Yeah, we can't
the
give a
full
full review
review, but a starter review with 5 axes from a beginner point of view, beginner, bold, underline, so on and so forth. It's complicated. It's hard to learn, even when I've been explained 6,000 times.
Yeah, when it explains it on your cards and on
Yeah. I'm the type of learner who, you explained the rules to me, I'm like, I had no idea what any of that meant, and then I watched the first player go, and I'm like, oh, okay, now I get it. So, I was able to learn...
You're a visual learner.
Well, I was able to learn it just from watching you go, so it wasn't that hard once I already,
Now that's more of a kinesthetic learning.
Well, I was, when you went, I was like, okay, I get it. Even though I had to be talked through it. So it's not too complicated once you get it, but it's the whole getting there. So
in my opinion, I'm going to hijack you a little bit.
That's fine.
In my opinion, there was just a little bit too much to keep track of. Because you had to keep track of the rounds, the turns, the this counter, the that counter, and I'm always the type of person to forget to move the counters over, and losing track of everything would be really devastating.
Yeah, I feel like I'm gonna hijack back. I think if you lost track of everything, it would just fall apart. And this is a timeline game where falling apart is kind of what you're trying to avoid. So in the end,
Or trying to create.
my review, my ultimate axe is, I'm gonna give it a 3 out of 5.
Really?
Yeah,
Okay.
because since it was for a kinesthetic learner or a visual learner, whichever I am, I feel like it was almost too hard to learn. I think this has to be explained by a professional.
I think the consensus that we've all reached is the game itself was too ambitious. It was trying to do too much.
Will we really need to play through 1 or 2 full games of this? And I know that's a pretty...
Ain't nobody got time for that.
I think it's asking a little much.
It says in the box or in the instructions that a full game of this should last, what was it, an hour and a half?
1 to 2 hours.
1 to 2 hours. So
Yeah,
playing
what is
multiple of
this?
these in a row is your entire day. The entire time you're awake would be 2 games.
So
Which
it
would make
was
4
a
hours.
little bit ambitious.
I think it was over ambitious because the game,
That's a problem
just from what I've seen, the game is not. Unfortunately, it's not fun enough for me to
keep at it.
to keep at it to give it its full lifespan.
Yeah.
Because I can sit and play a lot of other games for. I mean, we have all sat down and played like Magic and other kind of games. We played it for hours and hours and hours and hours, just game after game after game.
Because the games are simple.
Because the games are simple and they're fun. And even if they are relatively complex, like some of the games that we play can be,
Well, using
it's
using
worth
Magic,
the investment because it's fun.
Using Magic as an example, I mean, there's no hard-coded role-playing aspect to Magic: The Gathering, but you have the characters and you can make up your own story. Whereas with this, it seemed like the storyline was a little bit forced. Like you had characters that you could play that would
Well,
give
see,
you
that's the
special
thing
goals.
is, there was a
Yeah.
lot of other games from that aspects were taken. Like for example, when you have your secret cards, I mean, you have points on both sides. That's very much a Magic the Gathering trait. So if you weren't familiar with Magic the Gathering, then you're not gonna understand. Or any other type of card game. A lot of the card games do have this skill. So if you've had some experience with Magic, that's going to be a little bit quicker on your uptake as far as your learning. And then of course, if you've played Risk, you're going to probably understand this, and also Monopoly, you're going to get that as well. Same way with your pieces. But the quick rules were nice. As far as
they made a sincere effort to make it
very nice.
easy to pick up. It was just a little bit too much.
But
The instructions were easy to understand, but there were just so many of them.
And, well, the
that's the
artwork
thing.
itself is kind of misleading as well.
The artwork is extremely misleading. I would have to say
It
that
looks
it was,
like a children's game, but it's not at all.
And that's the thing
Maybe
with a
that was
lot
an
of
off choice.
the Kickstarters. A lot of the Kickstarters are very ambitious. They put too much into it. And it's like sometimes, like Coco Chanel had said one time, when you dress up, you get ready to walk out the door, take one accessory off. This is the same applies for the Kickstarters. When you make your game, take one piece out because it's almost too much. You've got too much going on. You've got 2 or 3 pieces, 2 or 3 games going on here. You could probably take out the cards. You could probably take this out. Just this part alone with the timeline was intriguing enough to keep playing. But by keep adding things in, it's almost killing out the game. You could probably cut off some of the time like that.
Okay, so I'm giving it 2 axes myself because it wasn't fun enough for me, just my own tastes. Now there may be a lot of you out there that really dig the hyper complex. It's not hyper complex. I mean honestly, it's not overly complex. It's just not as much fun for me as it is complex to learn. If that makes sense, it's not to me. It's just not worth the effort. And I hate saying that because I like to be you know how I like to be positive in my reviews, but it was just not. There was just something missing and too much at the same time.
What about you, Ian?
I would like to give this game a full review, like as I said, play a full session of it and see what it's like understanding it and actually playing through, because we only got to round 2 of turn 1.
Yeah, that's the
Step 1
of step 1 of section 3.
Yeah.
paragraph 4.
And we're into it way over the time that was allotted.
Taking over an hour to just read the instructions.
And not even make full sense of
not
it.
even make
Well,
full sense of it.
you know,
It was very
Let me see.
deceptive.
especially you got those instructions. I mean, it's laid out well, but
Yeah, it's laid out well. It's just, again, there's so much of it. From not reviewing the game, because I can't fully say I have the right to do that yet because I haven't played through.
Yeah, that's the difference.
Yeah, reviewing the startup is pretty bad. It's definitely not a game that you can just sit down and play. It's not.
So how many axes?
I'll give it 2 out of 5.
I'm gonna go with 2 also.
Oh, I was extremely generous with mine.
well, I'm unfortunately going to be very generous and say 3 because I do like time events. I do like all the time travel
So
and
the
that.
theme is good.
So the theme, to me, I like it, and I would play it, but I'm not going to sit down and spend a lot of time playing a game that's going to take forever to play. To me, I have a choice of playing other games, and if I have a choice to play other games, this is not going to be one of my top picks, unfortunately.
So, what we have ended up with is 2.4 axes for Legacy Gears of Time. You get handed
The
about...
startup, very specifically, not the full game.
Well, yeah.
This is
But
basically
it's,
a demo play.
It can
Yeah.
be found at www.floodgategames.com.
We encourage you to make your own decisions. Just because we don't like it doesn't mean, you know. And I don't think we don't like it. I think it was just not as good as. There's some issues.
There's some flaws.
Maybe maybe they change it in the aftermath.
It looks
or
complicated
something.
just from the design on the front. So.
Yeah, and the picture on the back is it's pretty complicated. And not that we're opposed to complicated games, for crying out loud. I mean, but if it's more complicated than its fun value is, then that's the issue, really. And so again, that is Legacy Gears of Time from FloodgateGames.com. Check them out. And leave some comments if you play this game, or if we're doing something wrong. Please let us know. We love comments. We love discussions. Got a ton of them going right now, and we'll see what happens. We will be back a little bit later with some more board game reviews. And again, I am Dr. Jeff Goins, and with us in the tavern,
Lear Goins.
Ian Goins.
Lisa Goins.
Lisa Goins.
And don't forget to give us a like, subscribe, share the crap out of it, and let us know what you think. Leave us comments and all that good stuff. And so, on behalf of the whole cast and crew of the Dwarven Tavern, we wish for you to want for nothing but adventure. And at first I feared it.
Then I charged.
Thanks for watching, and we'll see you next time.